Let us talk about his contribution. When we talk about any Quranic story, when we talk about any Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we talk about his seerah and we talk about his ta'aleem. Seerah means what he went through in his own life, his biography. And we also talk about what lesson he has given. So inshallah ta'ala, I will mention some of the stories related to Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, but more importantly, what it teaches us as well. We have already said that Ibrahim alayhi salam's family was unbelievably important. They are mentioned in great detail in several places in the Holy Quran. His family is important because we send durood upon him and his family each and every salah. So why is it that Ibrahim alayhi salam's family is so prominent? What warrants its mention time and time again in the Holy Quran? What is a special formula that makes it special and unique, this family? In short, what you will find at Ibrahim alayhi salam's family, it is a great blueprint, a great example of how a successful Muslim family should be. It is a great example of what Muslims today should be doing in order to ensure safety, security and happiness in their homes. And there are three basic themes that I would like to share with you, that you could say summarize the ingredients to be found in a successful family as taught and practiced by Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam. Number 1, trust. Number 2, obedience. And number 3, communication. So let us look at some of these stories and how they actually come across. Number 1, Ibrahim alayhi salam, just as Sayyidina Ismail alayhi salam was born, he was instructed to take Hajar alayhi salam to a barren land. At that time, Makkah Sharif was nothing but a barren valley. There was no greenery there, certainly there was no water. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, through the instruction of Allah, he migrated from the Middle East to Hijaz and he went to Makkah Sharif. The first thing he did when he reached there is he left Hajar and Ismail alayhi salam at what is now the Kaaba Sharif. And as soon as he did this, he began walking away into the horizon. Hajar, as you can imagine, was completely surprised and astonished that he has brought me here and now it seems he is deserting me. So as you can imagine, Hajar alayhi salam called out to Ibrahim that, where are you going? Why are you leaving us here alone, myself and a small child in the form of Ismail alayhi salam? Ibrahim walked and he did not respond. Hajar alayhi salam called out for a second time. Why are you leaving us here? You are deserting us. There is no water here, there is no shelter here. This is akin to murder. Ibrahim alayhi salam again, he did not respond. On the third occasion, Hajar alayhi salam asked the same questions, and this time she supplemented it with, has Allah instructed you, O Ibrahim, to leave me here? To which Ibrahim alayhi salam, he replied in the affirmative and he said, yes. Hajar alayhi salam, she understood. She understood that this is the hukum of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the response that came from her blessed mouth was, now, in that case, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will look after us. If we have been left here for the hukam and ruling of Allah, He will look after us. Thereafter, as you know, Hajar alayhi salam frantically looked for water. She journeyed between the two mountains of Safa and Marwa. Whether it was Ismail alayhi salam's heels or the wings of Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam, there were two reports. Eventually water began to gush from the zameen, from the earth, from which we get Zamzam water. This miracle of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is still with us and will be with us until the day of Qiyamah. The lesson for us in this part is Hajar alayhi salam was obedient. She listened to Ibrahim. She trusted his judgment. Otherwise, the zahiri halat, the external circumstances suggested that she in no way should be trusting what is going on. But she had trust and obedience in what Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam had done and what he had said. We find that in their son as well, in Ismail. As we said, Ismail was given to Ibrahim alayhi salam at a very old age. As you can imagine, he dearly loved his son. Through the interpretation of a dream, and remember, the dreams of all prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are haqq. They are truthful. Anything that happens in a dream of a prophet is like wahi. For you and I, it is different. It doesn't mean much. But for the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is haqq. In his old age, Ibrahim alayhi salam, he saw a dream in which he was instructed to sacrifice his only son at the time, Ismail alayhi salam. Ismail alayhi salam, again, he trusted his father. He showed obedience to him. Ibrahim, and perhaps rightly so, he could have questioned his father and said that, "Oh Ibrahim, perhaps Allah has told you to sacrifice me, but murder is haram in Islam." If he wanted to, Ismail alayhi salam could have questioned Ibrahim when he told him that, "I am going to put a knife to your neck." That, "Oh father, beloved father, I am a Muslim, I am not a kafir." If he wanted to, he could have said that, "You are my only I am your only son, that I myself are the result of a lifetime of du'as. So why are you sacrificing me?" None of these responses were emitted from the blessed mouth of Ismail alayhi salam. Rather, he showed utmost obedience and trust in what his father was saying. So again, in particular, the relationship between a son and between a father, between a child and between their parents, it should be based on trust and obedience. There is no genre of people on God's earth like parents. Their advice, their obedience, their compassion and love, it does not equate anybody else's compassion or obedience. We live in a very selfish world. Whatever advice, whatever nasiha you get from people around you, it is never 100% sincere. You know, the people who are in your workplace, they offer you advice all of the time. They have their own agenda as well. Your friends have their own agendas. Everyone has a matlab, everyone has a maqsad. The only people who give you 100% correct nasiha are your parents. They have no matlab, they have no maqsad. It is pure, undiluted nasiha. Everyone in your life, they want to be better than you. They don't want you to outsmart them, to outdo them, to be better than you, to be richer than you, to be more successful than you. There is always an element of envy and jealousy in every single person you see. Never in parents though. They are the only people who actually want you to do better than they have. No one else wants you to do that. So please cherish this relationship that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given in the form of parents. Pray for them as much as possible. Remember that each and every time you look at them, we are in the Hajj season, each and every time you look at them, subhanallah, with a love of rahmah and nazar, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you the reward of an accepted Hajj. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala show karam on all of our parents. And certainly this is also a lesson for our children as well. Listen more, question less. When your parents and when your elders tell you to do something, then accept their authority and accept the hikmah behind that. The other part of the story, and this is very important as well, is the communication. The dream has been mentioned in great detail in the Holy Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explains that how He gave instructions to Ibrahim alayhi salam about what he should do with his son. Ibrahim, he relayed this information on to Ismail. He told him that this is what has happened. Allah has told me, Inni ara fil manami anni azbahuka. Ibrahim said to his son the next day after seeing this dream that I have seen a dream that I am slaughtering you. Fanzur ma za tara. So tell me, what do you think about this? Ibrahim had to implement the instructions of Allah, but he still communicated with his son. He still actively engaged in dialogue. He asked him what he thought. He asked for shura and dialogue. All along, Ismail alayhi salam knew what was going on.